What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. It's April 30th, 2022. Are the juiced balls back? I don't know. Last night though, a really high-scoring night. But when you think back before, I really didn't have a strong tier 1 type of pitcher, so it was a bunch of day 3s and 4s going at it. Of course, we liked a couple of pitchers, and some games didn't quite pop off, but man, it was kind of fun to see some scores across the league last night look like offense might be back, if not but one night only, man. I hope you guys are vibing out this Saturday afternoon. No basketball tonight, so no NBA stream, so I had an extra 30 minutes to talk or an extra 30 minutes to wait for lineups so we can come out here and talk some baseball tonight. Hey, let's look back at last night just for a bit, just for a minute. We'll share some stories, share some sweats, and so you guys have some good stuff in chat too. What's up, Jonathan Adams, Gilbert Powell, Chris Smith, Ariel Guerrero? Yeah. What up, Justin Sports? Under pressure. That Angels game giving me the jitters. Oh, and you know what's? Yeah, man. Anyway, looking back at last night, Jose Ramirez led the slate in fantasy points. He had a bomb, 3 runs scored, a double, a pair of walks. He was the guy I was worried about when it came to Frankie Montas, and he did his thing in that game. Shot out on both sides. Hunter Renfroe, the Brewers, one of many teams to pop off last night. Looking through the slate, the Astros dropped 11 runs versus Blue Jays dropping 7. The Nationals last night, Oracle Park dropping 14. Rockies got to a nice little 10-run game there. Cleveland, Oakland 9-8. The Yankees dropped 12 and they didn't even get a full 9 innings. Rizzo sending one over the center field wall. Dodgers got you 5. It was a pretty high scoring game last night. Matter of fact, I think I found a tweet suggesting that it's such an outlier that there's some speculation about the baseballs last night. Hey, if Manfred wanted to sneak some of those juice balls back into play, I wouldn't say no. But hey, no conspiracy theories, right? What up, Obi-Wan? What up, Andrew? Had a Yankees and Astros stack last night. Yes, sir. Hey, you guys want to hear fun? So I went after the 30K on Fanduel last night. Check out my top lineup here, right? First of all, I'll be a little salty when we relive this, but I promise you it's going to a good place. I ran Tyler Mego in this one. I talked about his strikeout stuff against righties, just nuts. And not only did he do just fine against the Phillies. The Phillies had 0 hits. A team no-hitter for the Mets here, but unfortunately, Tyler Mango actually scored less than Aaron Nola, who gave up 2 runs because he doesn't get the quality start. He just goes 5 innings. So I was a little bit salty about that one because, you know, I felt like the risk reward, you know, a 6% pitcher here, I didn't get quite what I was hoping for when, you know, the Phillies didn't drop a single hit. So 36 fantasy points out of Mego, whatever. Got some Coors bats really low owned. Elias Diaz, hello, I am Elias, 2% owned, 28 fantasy points. And Ryan McMahon, 5% owned, also 28 fantasy points. And then, so about, I don't know, 6th inning of the Rockies game, I realized I'm in 9th place of this 30K to first. I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. We got a shot, boys. We got a shot, boys. And I had just got an Aaron Judge homer to get me there. So the Reds start letting some traffic on. Ryan McMahon comes up to the plate with 2 on, and it's lefty on lefty. He squeaks one just foul. I mean, just foul. And then he draws a walk. Oh man! And then Elias Diaz comes up to the plate. Base is now loaded. I got the runner on first. I got Diaz's bat at 2% owned. No one else has him. And he pops out to Jeff Hoffman, who I've got beef with. So I was like, okay, well, that's it for that. But I'm still a swing away from, from making some damage. I got Brandon Crawford, who, had a full game left. Well, unfortunately, I only get a single out of Brandon Crawford. But to finish a home run away from first would sting a lot less if in first place it wasn't the homie, man. My boy Terry, who we did the live before lock yesterday on Osmo. We're going to do it again today, by the way. Takes first. So shout out to Terry for doing that. But yeah, I was right there in the thick of things and I had thought about late swapping Crawford out once I had seen that, okay, this lineup's got some stank to it. But sometimes you just don't want to mess with fate, right? And, there's a couple options for the late swap. But, hey, we're going to go back at it tonight, man. But I thought that was pretty fun. Hopefully you guys experienced a lot of success last night. What up, Sensei J? What up, Team Underground? Hate when that... Oh, man. You seen that gem of a no-no by the best baseball team in New York? Now, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. A little controversial topic, I guess, but... do combined no-hitters really mean anything? I mean, do they really mean anything? If your answer is yeah, sure, go for it. But don't you care a lot less? Like, a lot less? If there's a combined, like there's a 4 or 5 pitcher combined no-no? I do. Right? The no-hitter, the perfect game from one guy is what you want. I don't really care about a combined no-no. And it's okay. Like, it's a special thing. I'm not taking that away from Mets fans last night. But come on. You wouldn't care if any other team in the league had a combined no-no last night. It's just whatever. Because some people ran Hauser. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Results... Now that we have the results, pitching was a cesspool last night. I mean, it was god awful. There wasn't but 1 or 2 like really strong plays at pitcher, and then you just hope your pitcher got you got positive. So I can't talk down on anyone, but Hauser ended up being a solid click, right? But so did everybody. I sound like a hater. I'm not hating. Hold up, MV. Hold up. I'm not a hater. I promise you that. When that happened, I'll tell you, I'll be that guy when it comes to like the Red Sox or the Astros. But as soon as that happened, as soon as the Mets got their stuff, I went out there and said, I tweeted, congrats to all my Mets friends. That's always special to watch. All right, we don't hate around here. All right, good vibes only, unless it's Red Sox or Astros. Then kick rocks. So relax. I played Wainwright. Hey, I had some Wainwright too, man. I don't regret the play. Like I said, the pitching sucked yesterday. It just did. It was really bad. So,
don't second guess any, and whatever you ended up on pitcher, it obviously could have been worse. It sucks that like the chalkiest guy on DraftKings was one of the worst plays, but what are you gonna do? Hey, shout out to Jason Robinson. I don't know if he's in chat right now. I know he's a channel member here, so I do want to show him some love. Flipped $112 to $1,120. Going off of everything we covered in the PrizePicks stream yesterday. Edwards over 3 3-pointers. Patrick Beverley over 26 fantasy points. I mean, he crushed that, right? Beverly smoked 26 fantasy points. Desmond Bain, John Morant, Brandon Clark. So good on Jason for doing that. And then let's talk about PrizePicks for just 1 second. Today is a flex day. What that means is higher payouts on all flex entries today. So a 5-pick going 5 for 5. Instead of getting 10x, they're going to hit you with that 13x. 5-pick going 4 out of 5. They'll get you 2.5x and so on and so forth. So I'm always a proponent, a preacher, an enthusiast, if you will, of the flex play, especially for baseball. So if you're going to do that, or if you want to try baseball, definitely get on that and hit up those flex plays, right? And if you're not on PrizePicks, well, guess what? Cool transition. You should be. And if you aren't on PrizePicks and you want to sign up for PrizePicks and you want to stretch that bankroll just a little bit, sign up using code GUNDACKER, and they're going to double your first deposit up to $100. I'll drop a link in chat. You guys get in that if you're not already on it. So if you drop just, hey, $20, $30 on it, they're going to make that $40, $60, so on and so forth. And then you just get a little extra spending money. None of that slow drip nonsense. None of that play through it 8 times, cash out via crypto, but you have to buy an NFT for this new project that has a great roadmap. No, instant, bro. They're gonna hook you up right away. And then when you do that, when you sign up with my code that sells PrizePicks, hey, Gun's showing out for us, and so they show me some love, and this is a whole bunch of love going on. So check them out. And yeah, shout out to Rich in chat. Rich says, do you like any PrizePicks early props? I did not actually look at much on the early, but I do promise to look at much on the late. Velasquez at 4.5 strikeouts seems a little bit tall, but I haven't looked at this Angels lineup yet. What's the Angels lineup looking like, boys? Oh, actually, there's some rain concerns there too, huh? Trout's in it, Otani's in it. Maybe I'd take the under on fantasy points rather than strikeouts. 20, Don't catch me lying, man. I don't want to give you guys plays without doing some decent research behind them. So, but I'm not scared of Vince Velasquez. But I'll definitely I'll dive into game by game on the main slate, and then we'll shop some props on PrizePicks. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing the Angels versus White Sox game. No postponement, please. NBA's back tomorrow. It's one of those weird things where it's like a afternoon thing. So I don't think we're gonna stream for tomorrow. I think Josh said he wasn't gonna do a video, but don't quote me. And that we'd be back in the saddle on Monday. So that's probably the plan. That's probably the plan. But let's do some research on the main slate tonight, boys. After this stream, I'll be in the rundfs.com voice chat for a little bit. Then we're going to go back live before lock on the Osmo channel. And hey, there's 30,000 reasons to listen to that one. My boy Terry running the ship. Looks like no weather concerns for the main slate tonight. There was the White Sox game. That's not on the main slate. And the St. Louis also not on the main slate, right? So it looks like we're good. Royals game, winds out to right at 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's what you want, especially for those pull hitters. And Judge and DJ can go oppo anyway. And then winds in Coors, but Coors is Coors. So it's all good. Shout out to Kevin Roth for keeping us updated on the weather. The Oakland lineup is ugly. Bieber should feast. He should try to make one tonight, but I got the prop detector flowing right now. There we go, Josh. Shout out to Josh. Hey, is the music too loud, too low? We vibing? Let's get some lineups punched in. I'm feeling this one real quick. I'm hoping for the stankiest beat drop. Just okay. right, I was hoping for something a little harder than that. But what are you going to do? You get what you pay for. Hey, Red Sox lineup is out. Trevor Story, Rafael Devers batting second. That's some great opportunity. I mean, 5-6 at-bats? Yeah, maybe. Xander, JD Martinez going to be batting cleanup here. Alex Verdugo, Enrique Hernandez batting seventh. Bobby. Kevin Plawecki and JBJ confirmed. And we also have a confirmed Orioles lineup. Cedric Mullins, the second. Anthony Santander trade. Nope. Ryan Mountcastle batting third. No Mancini today. And he's definitely one of their best bats, best players. Tyler Nevin, son of Phil Nevin, who I believe is currently the Phillies third base coach, was the Yankees third base coach. Robinson Chirinos, Chris Owings. So that is our confirmed Orioles lineup. McClanahan against the Buxton-less lineup. Yeah, McClanahan's really, really good. I would be in on him against Buxton anyway. But obviously Buxton is a great player. So him not beating in the lineup certainly makes it that much more fruitful. Eovaldi versus Spencer Watkins. So one of these pitchers is not like the other. We're looking at playing a little bit of Eovaldi. I can imagine that. Coming into the season, Eovaldi had a 3.37 expected ERA, a 3.6 SIERA, respectable 12.6% swing and strike rate. Kept the barrel off the ball, 6.3% barrel rate, and he's facing an Orioles team that is one of the highest strikeout teams in all of baseball. And like we said, a little less impactful losing a guy like Trey Mancini. So let's double down on some Eovaldi numbers from this season and, feel good about him being good, stretched out. Still got that swing and miss stuff. This season he's got a 12.2% swing and strike rate. Cool, that's where we've been at. 63% first pitch strike rate. We like that. The xFIP, great. The SIERA, great. The hard contact, would like that a little bit lower, but I don't think that's too out of the ordinary for him. I guess against the lefties last year, or the last couple years, that's really where his problem lays. But Rugi Odor, 30% K rate. We can kind of neutralize that. So looks like for his lefty splits, his hard contact splits, we're going to be worried about Cedric Mullins and a little bit of Anthony Santander. But past that, bunch of righties for him to get it on with. So I like that. What's Eovaldi's pitch count looking like, right? Got to 70. He's got to 100 pitches against Detroit. Went 7 innings, 72 pitches against Toronto, so extremely efficient. 10 ground balls to 8, so 18 batted ball events. Maybe that's a little out of the ordinary, but I do think, the only reason he doesn't go more than 72 pitches is because he went 7 innings, right? So passed the baton. So, yeah, I think he's pretty well stretched out here, and I think this means we're going to put Eovaldi as a tier 1. Anyone disagree with that? Meaning, I'll tell you, we'll start at tier 2, but as far as like matchup and stuff goes, like the checkbox, right? Your SIERA, your expected ERA, your strikeout stuff is there. You got a righty dominant lineup. It's a bad team anyway. The park's been adjusted to be more beneficial for pitchers, and the park's been adjusted to be less beneficial for those lefty pull hitters. So it's a really good spot for Eovaldi through and through. So I think he's going to end up being a tier 1 option tonight, but let's start at tier 2 and we'll adjust going forward. Absolutely got to play some of them. Spencer Watkins, you did your thing, dog, but that's going to be a no for me. Comes to this season with a 1.7 whip, a 6.91 expected ERA. That's not nice. I don't care what you say. A 5.42 SIERA, and the barrel rate in the double digits. Let's see how that's translated into this season so far through a few games. But I imagine that I'm going to have some interest in a Red Sox stack. Really both sides of the plate standing out here. And like I said, I'm loving Devers in the 2 spot, getting guaranteed 4 or 5 at bats. I mean, he's just a premium bat to have that many implied at bats from, right? A 6.5% swing and strike rate for Spencer Watkins so far, and looking at the batted ball data, xFIP SIERA is still really doggone high. I will give him his 52% ground ball rate. That's going to keep the ball on the ground, maybe take away some of the home run potential. But for the elite hitters like a Devers, I'm still going to be in on that. And looking at the split so far this year, both of his homers have been against righties, and that's pretty consistent with his numbers last year. Much worse against righties when it came to hard contact and home run per nine. So do we get behind a guy like Trevor Story, who has been really, really quiet all year, but we can neutralize that K rate, maximize the matchup here, and a huge protection blank system in the batters in the on deck circle, right? So maybe Trevor Story is a little bit sneaky, and I just think the Red Sox stack is going to be very much in play for me. They have an implied run total of 4.4. I'm fine with picking on Spencer Watkins, and let's go look at batted ball data for Watkins so far against righties. 33% hard contact rate. Fly ball rates at 42%. So the ground ball rate looks like that's more so against lefties, and that's kind of elevating the aggregate to 50% overall. But it's not through and through to righties, right? Just a 37.5% ground ball rate to righties. Meanwhile, if you combine the fly ball and the line drive rate, you're getting over 60% of baseballs that are going up and not down. So righties are looking really, really good against Spencer Watkins here. Bomb Detector loves Trevor Story. Bomb Detector loves Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Kike Hernandez, Bobby Dalbec. Oh my God, this is the dream matchup for Dalbec. Look at this, a 34% K rate. We can neutralize that with a 6% swing and strike rate. And Dalbec, when he makes contact, kind of like Mike Zunino, his barrel rate's through the roof, 18.6% barrel rate. Yeah, Bobby Dalbec can play on my team tonight if he's going to get one or two looks at Spencer Watkins. So we're stacking Red Sox as much as that pains me. So we're going to add them to the list here, and then I don't have any true interest in stacking the Orioles. So we're not playing Watkins, we're stacking Red Sox, we're playing Eovaldi, and we might get to an aggressive amount of Eovaldi. 6Ks for Eovaldi on PrizePicks. So, all right, let's give him 90 pitches in the K Factory. We're getting a 7.5 strikeout projection. So I'd probably take the over at 6Ks. I feel like push is a real outcome, and we can soften the blow. But could he get to 7? Sure. I'm leaning the over here. Mountcastle 1-4, Odor 1-3, essentially 1-4 for Arias, 30% on Owings and Chirinos. I like the thought of Eovaldi getting the K's here. He actually strikes out lefties at a higher clip, which is kind of funny. So I'd probably jot that down. So let's do that. Let's make a list. PrizePicks props. And this isn't like ranked or anything. It's just as we go, stuff that sticks out. So we'll go Nathan Eovaldi over 6Ks. And just out of curiosity, does Underdog offer a competitive line on that? I don't even see the Red Sox game here. Angels game, San Fran game. Is it in any particular order? Tampa, Miami, Pittsburgh. There we go. They got Eovaldi at 92.5 pitches. That's another one. Hey, let's not always be stuck on strikeouts, by the way. What's the outs on Eovaldi? Can we get under 18? 16.5 outs? I like that. I mean, I like that. Because I'd probably give him 18. So let's slash line that. 6Ks or over 16.5 outs. Basically, if you're new to betting outs, 15 outs is 5 innings, 18 is 6 innings. I think there's a good chance for a quality start here. So even if we worry about the strikeouts, as you've seen in that Toronto game, he can get some outs. So I'd probably lean the outs here, but I don't hate the Ks. So let's leave that on the list. And then referencing Underdog again, Mancini not in the lineup, so don't worry about that. They got him at 92.5 pitches. That seems a little too much to dabble with. So let's take that. Let's jot that down. And then I do like the thought of some of these Red Sox righties. Trevor Story getting maximum opportunities to get on base here. So what are the Red Sox featuring? God dang it, I keep forgetting. Boston, They're going to give us Devers, juiced up. Trevor Story's at half. They don't give us much for the Red Sox offense here. Just some Devers and just some Bogarts, but they're starting at 7.5. So that's like, I think that's even less than a double, right? I think a double's 5. A double's 5. So they're essentially implying them for triple points or like an RBI double in a run. So I don't know. I don't feel like we need to get to that. But Trevor Story would be interesting. JD's out. Okay. Good call. All right, let's fix that then. Trevor Story, Devers, Bogarts. JD must be really hurt because he's been so in and out of this lineup lately. But they haven't just put him on the IL. I think tomorrow, is it May 1st? I think Monday, teams have to downsize their rosters by 2 spots. So you can get away with hanging on to some guys and not put them on the IL now. But that might be a different story in a couple days. So keep an eye on that. Because most teams would prefer to keep those spots for pitchers, or I don't know, maybe I guess they could send down and call up a couple of pitchers, use some options, but look out for that. Springer has hit 2 homers already. My season long appreciate that because I got some catching up to do. I swear, whoever I bench in season long, like I have an extra outfield spot. The guy I bench always homers. Always. Literally always. It's getting out of control. And the guy I have not benched yet is Nelson Cruz. And you just, like, I'm wrestling with, is he too old? Can I give up on him? Or is he just going to catch fire soon? Because Cruz, his tail is old as time, right? He's going to have one of those weeks where he homers, like, every game for, like, 5 days straight. And, I don't want to bench him. But, I don't know. All right, Rangers lineup is confirmed. I can get that in the spreadsheet. Nate Lowe's leading off. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Cole Calhoun. I wonder what that's about. Andy took a pill and he bought it. Zach Rex. There's a name. Sam Huff. These are names. All right, we're going to do a little bit of research on some of these individuals. And then we did have this Braves lineup. It's Acuna leading off. Olsen, Riley. I hate Austin. Marcell Ozuna, Albies. This is a dirty lineup. A lot of stank on it. Travis Demeritte led off yesterday. Had an inside the park homer. Dansby Swanson's there. All right, let me skip this song. I don't know what's going on. This song's called Dark Knight. I'm with it. I think I've heard this song before. All right, so let's do some research on Bryce Elder, who I believe is if my memory serves me correct, I think this is a high K, high walk guy from the minors. But let's look into him a little bit, and then let's look into how he's translated, because this ain't his first start in the majors. But I do want to refresh my memory on who he's supposed to be, or who he could be. You have all these 6Ks or 6.5 outs or 30. So if I had to rank that, I would take the outs and then the Ks. Fantasy points a little too flimsy. Like, I wouldn't. Fantasy points for pitching is really not. Once you get to like 30 fantasy points, you're basically implying the quality start. So then take the outs, because the outs for a quality start, you need 18 outs. You know what I mean? So you just kind of toy with it that way. And then you don't have to sweat earned runs and stuff like that. Okay, so let's look at last year for Elder. Respect your Elder. Last year in the minors, 18 innings pitched against lefties, 12 walks. That's not great. 282 average allowed, a 178 whip, and a 1.8 ground out to air out ratio. So, ground ball pitcher, decent strikeout stuff, big command issues. Against righties, 26.2 innings pitched, 34 Ks. That's good. The walks a little bit better. 8 walks against righties, a 0.98 whip against righties, and the 1.6 ground out to air out ratio. So it looks like we should expect him to worry about lefties, and then we can double check what he's done so far this season. Split wise, 9.2 innings against lefties, 6 Ks, 4 walks, 5 innings against righties, 7 walks, 5 Ks. So he seems like a very combustible pitcher. And I always say when you start walking hitters, you create the opportunity for the big inning. And I don't think we need to get there. So we're going to eliminate Elder from consideration. Do we want to stack the Rangers? I mean, probably not, but he has shown a little bit of power problem to lefties at the major league level. And a lot of times there is a growing period from minor leaguers to get their minor league numbers to look the same in the majors. So if we wanted a couple of Rangers bats, I bet they come in relatively low owned considering the size of this slate. But man, this is a collection of names. Yeah, you got your household Semien, Seager, Garcia. The rest of this lineup is what the freak. You know what I mean? It's rough, but hey, bad hitting beats bad pitching. You saw the Athletics and Guardians shoot out last night, so I wouldn't talk you guys down. I don't know about the roof status, but they have been popping the lid this early in the season for some of these dome stadiums, including Texas. So if they open the roof, it's just that much more positive for the hitting environment. And then Dane Dunning, he's on the bump for the Rangers. He's coming into this season with an xFIP problem against lefties, and he hasn't been super sharp to start this season. So I think we are going to find ourselves betting on the Braves stack to come through here. So looking at Dane Dunning so far this season. What up, Emilio? And I was like, Emilio. You guys ever seen Night at the Roxbury, or am I just a boomer? And who do you think it was? Emilio Estevez. And I was like, Emilio! 7.2 innings against lefties, 333 average allowed, 10 Ks to lefties, so that's good. 10.2 innings to righties, 9 Ks, that's respectable. Elevated slugging percentage to lefties. It is a very, very small sample size, but let's see if the batted ball data is telling or supporting this story here. So batted ball data against lefties, we want to focus on hard contact rate. It's at 65%. That is a whole lot of not what you want. Put that in perspective. 40% would be amongst the league's highest. 65%, if that's sustained, he'd probably get sent down. I think that regresses, obviously. It's a short sample size, but my goodness. Pull rate, 40%, and the fly ball to line drive rate. This line drive rate's unacceptable as well. And it's pretty high to both sides of the plate. So we don't need to dig too deep to put some chips on the roulette table with the Braves logo. So I do like the Brave stack just straight up. And then swinging strike rate at 8.6% on the season, a 55% first pitch strike rate, and then overall batted ball data, high line drive rate. So yeah, guess what? We're stacking Braves, boys. And Ronald Acuna in the lineup and leading off. So let's put the Braves, let's add them to the Red Sox here, and we out here. I'm going to leave the jury out on the Rangers. You guys let me know if you want to get to some Ranger stacks. I think we can justify it. But it's a really, really watered down lineup. I mean, I guess it's fair to go look up like Zach Rex and Huff to see if they're, these are like goats that I don't know about. So let's pull up Zach Rex minor league card. Incredible name, by the way. Just like insane. 28 years old. Wasn't there a wrestler named Tyler Rex? I want to say, maybe. Let's see, in the minors. Ooh, this is not great. In a career minor league OPS of 867. I guess that's better. Maybe I was just looking at splits that were rough. 136 average to lefties, but he's crushing righties so far. 31 at-bats against righties. No homers, but he does have a triple and 4 doubles, so a little bit of oomph in his bat. And then career-wise, he's slashing 294, 383, or there's no slug line here, 383 OBP and 867 OPS. So I wonder if he just has a career split thing going on. So let's go look at last year for Rex. And against righties last year, much more at-bats, 243 of them. 284 average, 380 OBP, 572 slugging, 952 OPS. So, yeah, I mean, I guess he's got a puncher's chance. 17 bombs as well. Maybe we do get some Ranger stack in here, and we probably don't have to give up a ton of equity words. It's just, is he in the player pool? Zach Rex. He is, and he's bare bones min on DraftKings. So, yeah, okay. Extreme splits guy, but he does hit he does hit righties, and so far we've seen Elder struggle with lefties. So everything's kind of coming together. So yeah, maybe we get to some Ranger stuff. So I'm gonna put him. Obviously they're not gonna be a priority. So let's put him down here a little bit. But yeah, we will. What up, Sean? Sean, do you have a different avatar? I feel like your name's usually red. Or maybe that's just us ghost manning you. I don't know. I'm just joking. Let's get caught up on chat. Let me know who you bench tomorrow. Yeah, Jesse. Hey, I'm running out of bench, to be honest. So today I just had to quickly put Buxton on the bench because he got scratched. So pinch hit homer incoming. Here's a look at what I'm working with. Oh, I dropped like Josh Lowe the other day, but I keep most pitchers, right? And then I keep a tight bench. I just dropped my catcher the other day. I didn't want to carry two catchers, but I was carrying Buxton, and then I picked up Taylor Ward the other day. But like yesterday, I didn't want to start him over Buxton or Cruz or Marte or Spring. You know what I mean? So it just seems like the odd man out seems to be trolling me here. If I go look at yesterday's results on Friday, Taylor Ward hit a homer, a 2 RBI, and then was it Thursday or Wednesday? He hit a grand slam, and he was on my bench. So it's mainly Taylor Ward doing me dirty. So maybe I'll never bench Taylor Ward again. Maybe. Acuna 7.5 fantasy points on PrizePicks for a guy who hits and steals bags. He does seem okay. I kind of like it. Yes, I don't mind it. Dunning has been a little bit better against righties, so it is what it is. But yeah, that's a lot of opportunity for Acuna. Even if he draws a walk, good RBI or good run potential. You mentioned stolen base potential, so yeah, you can catch leadoff guys like that. I don't mind that. So yeah, I would be okay with that. 7.5, like I said, that's getting up there. But Acuna, Trey Turners, Luis Roberts, guys that have pop and stolen base potential, speed potential, I'm completely fine with that. And I'm expecting some runs from the Braves tonight. Braves have an implied run total of 4.7, by the way. All right, let's matriculate on to the next one. The Mets hosting the Phillies of Philadelphia. The Phillies, sometimes when you get a no-hit, we say they saved all their hits for today, right? So they got to get caught up. So look out, Taijuan Walker. Phillies might be coming for you. We do have a confirmed lineup for both teams. It's going to be Gene Segura, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Alec Bohm, Didi Gregorius, and Odubel Herrera confirmed as projected. BT Dub on the Mets side, Brandon Nimmo, Starling Marte, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Eduardo Escobar, Jeff McNeely. You're Jeff McNeely. You're Jeff McNeely. Mark Canna, Dominic Smith in the 8-hole, and James McCann batting ninth. So Mets collective no-no yesterday. Taijuan Walker looking to keep it going. Well, Walker's been hit or miss lately, right? Last year dealt with some back issues, and Mets training probably mismanaged him. Let's look at how the batted ball data suggesting Taijuan's been so far this season. Feels like an even poorer man's Marcus Stroman, right? 26.7% swing and strike rate. Well, that just can't be real. So he has 2 innings pitched with 30 pitches. All right. So I would imagine there's some rehab starts before they brought him back up, but who knows with the Mets. So let's look at Walker and see if we can expect him to be more than 30 pitches stretched out. Game log. All right, looks like on April 11th. No, that's the same. Wait, he really didn't rehab? No, that can't be right. Really? That seems a little crazy. Says he stretched out to throw about 80 to 85 pitches. Dude, did they really? Let's just Google this. Taijuan Walker rehab. Rehab start on tap. All right, it has to be okay. I was gonna Walker make a rehab start at extended spring training. Walker sustained shoulder injury. Blah, 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 blah. So it's not like a real game. All right, I'm gonna be honest. That probably means I'm not touching Taijuan Walker today for DFS. There's a lot of uncertainty. Phillies have just a 3.9 run total. Better weather, right? 60 degrees, but I don't know. So let's just trust what Taijuan brought to the table the last 2 years as an aggregate, especially last year, which was just right run of the mill, home run per 9, not great. He's like extremely mediocre. So I'll probably take a benefit of the doubt on the Phillies offense to wake up here. I still think they have some really, really solid names. I thought that yesterday's mega metrics made sense to be a little tough for the Phillies to get over. So I'm going to go ahead and look for the Phillies to spend a little extra time in BP today and try and right the ship. And I'm just going to hope that, this injury-plagued Taijuan Walker maybe isn't where he needs to be. Might get got. So give me some Philly stacks here. And then Kyle Gibson on the pump for the Phillies. Kind of the same, more of a contact guy than not. So far this season, 94, 90, 91 in his pitch counts in the last 3 games has got up to 6 pitches, back-to-back starts against the Rockies, including a Coors game. Shang, man, I appreciate that sub. Welcome to the channel. I don't imagine I'm going to be overly enamored to pitch Kyle Gibson, right? Like, I don't think that's going to be the case. We'll double check some of his metrics so far this season. Taylor Ward just singled. Let's go. It's going. Things are finally looking up, boys. We'll skip that. Slime. I get the singles, right? I don't get the homers out of Taylor Ward. All right, game log for Kyle Gibson. Oh, man, just got splashed. 16% swing and strike rate for Gibson so far this year. That's really good. That is up 6% from his average last year. Something worth noting. And then let's double check the pitch types then. So fastball at 91.5, using that 42% of the time, backing it up with a slider at 23% of the time. So let's look at the pitch report. A lot of data from last year. Fastball, slider, and then curveball. And is that a splitter? So he doesn't throw the splitter anymore. He throws more changeup, cutter. And he barely threw the cutter. Oh, no, I'm stupid. I'm looking at Walker. All right. So it's all the same, essentially. Maybe he's lost a zip or two on the fastball. So why is he missing more bats now? You know what I mean? Or is this just maybe a short sample size coincidence against maybe not ultra great offenses? Ketel Marte homer. Oh no, Chad! I definitely dropped. I think I dropped Marte for Taylor Ward actually. Also dropped Trevor Story. Like if you need all the tea, all the bad luck juju tea. Let me see if I can pull it up here. We'll see what the transactions were. I'm telling you, chat, I have this knack for dropping a guy, and they have a career game like the very next day. Look at league home. Full activity. So my recent transactions were. I dropped Mitch Keller for Carrasco, by the way, and that was the game Carrasco gave up like 8 runs. Yay me. I dropped Gary Sanchez for Taylor Ward. I didn't want to carry 2 catchers. And then I dropped Jameson Taillon, or I added Jameson Taillon over John Gray. Cool. That's understandable. And then let's go back a little bit. I did drop Ketel Marte because he was off to like his worst start ever. Also, I picked up Andrew Heaney after a couple good starts, and he immediately goes on the IL. I dropped Garrett Whitlock, and then, of course, he started the other day. Where is my Ketel Marte transaction? Oh, I added Santiago Espinal and dropped Ketel Marte because the metrics were giving Espinal like a expected average that was pretty nutty, while Ketel Marte was at a career high in swing and miss and stuff. So good for him. I also dropped Trevor Story for Eugenio Suarez. So Trevor Story definitely lead off homering. Like definitely lead off homering tonight. It's not even a question. It's just not. McClanahan already gave up a homer. Dang. It's all right though. If it was solo shots, we don't sweat those, man. Guys can't throw perfect games every time out. McClanahan's got good stuff. Who'd he give it up to though? Don't tell me it was Gary. Don't tell me it was a Gary. Kyle Garlick. All right, he hits lefties. D-backs had Ketel Marte and Nick Ahmed homer, huh? Garlick is always like the highest in the bomb detector. I wonder what rating he would have got today against Garlick. We could find this out. So let's go Kyle Garlick, and then on the other side we'd put Shane McClanahan. He would have had a 4.1 rating on the bomb detector, so anything over 4 is something that we'd be looking at. So that's not fake. I don't think that's fake. What were we doing, chat? We were looking at Phillies and Mets here, and Kyle Gibson. So I don't really think I would get to 9.1K Kyle Gibson on DraftKings. On Fanduel, maybe 8,200. You think he goes 6 innings, quality start. It's just a lot of lefties, and really Kyle Gibson's problem in the last 3 years have been lefties. So Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Eduardo Escobar, Jeff McNeil, all those guys look like tough outs, and I just wonder if it kind of erodes his upside. You know what I mean? And then let's look at his batted ball data this year versus lefties. Overall, 261 average to lefties, so it's much higher than his average allowed to righties, even though a lot of his power has come to righties. 2 doubles and a triple to lefties. What's the batted ball telling us? Hard contact's pretty low to lefties. 40% pull rate. Fly ball rate's up. Line drive rate's up. So not enough sample size to overreact, but I would assume... I don't know. I feel like 9.1K is a little too much for Gibson on DK. 8,200. If we donk it to a quality start on FanDuel, maybe a win, I'd be okay with that. But not a priority. No Taiwan for me. I could justify both teams in the blender of stacks to attack. Right. Emilio says any prize picks. Yeah, we're looking back and forth between prize picks in these games. I did like Eovaldi's over 16.5 outs. But maybe we'll look at these last 2 games that we just hit up. So I probably don't like anything specifically in that Mets-Phillies games for prop betting. I don't hate the thought of Acuna fantasy points there. And maybe Maddles. What do we got on Braves just in general? We got 7.5 fantasy points for Acuna. Matt Olson's at 1.5 total bases, 6.5 fantasy points for Matty Ice here. Olson has been really, really good and hitting for average. So does correlate well with like if you took a shot on Acuna, it would be a positive correlation to get the guy behind him who needs less fantasy points and could benefit from knocking him in, right? If Acuna hits a leadoff double and Matty Ice hits a RBI single or something like that. Yeah, it all adds up pretty quickly, and I think that's a pretty positive game for the Braves offense. But, yeah. What do they have for... does Dane Dunning have 4.5 Ks, 15 outs? Do we think Dane Dunning goes 5 innings against this Braves team? Do you think it's a little easier said than done? He has gone 5 innings twice, Astros and Blue Jays. So he had good offenses. So I don't know. I don't know. That's probably too close to call. I don't like to take less than confident picks on parlay player props for baseball because it's already extremely high variance, right? The guy from Osimo. What am I? A zoo exhibit? Marvin, Jesus H. Is this like I'm not a human? Yeah, man. I do some Osmo content. All right. Royals hosting the Yankees. We do have a confirmed Yankees lineup. LeMahieu, Josh Donaldson is batting second. Looks like an Aaron Judge day off. That's not fun. but he needs a day off, so it's okay. Gleyber Torres, Aaron Hicks, Joey Gallo. Are you saying Joey Gallo or Joey Callo? Jose Trevino catching Garrett Cole. That was my what to watch for. Higashioka has been Garrett Cole's caddy since he came to the Yankees. Didn't like Gary catching him much. And Higgy was like, they went to high school or something together. They came up together. Trevino caught Cole in that last start against Cleveland, and it was Garrett Cole's best game in a long time. So I was wondering to see if they would run that back, and they are. Something to keep an eye on. So no Judge in the lineup here. What else is different? Rizzo's batting third. And that's pretty much the main one. IKF is batting eighth. I feel like something else is missing here. Let me see. First base, Rizzo. Second base, Gleyber. Shortstop, IKF. Third base could be Donaldson or DH. Outfield, Stanton, Gallo, and Hicksy. I guess it's all the same. It's just Judge makes it look so much different. All right. I'm probably guessing Stanton's DH. No, it's got to be Donaldson, right? Donaldson or DJ. There's too many infielders in that lineup. The Yankees have an implied run total of 4.9. They're facing Carlos Hernandez. Hernandez came into the season with a very low K rate. It's kind of weird. When I was watching his first couple starts last year, they were building up his fastball, and they had a lot of high hopes and expectations for him. But he really hasn't put it together at the big league level. Let's see how he's done so far this season. Standing out 2-0. Trey Turner over half runs and RBIs. I don't like to bet. I'm real skittish on total bases. I do get to them sometimes, but I also am really skittish on runs and RBIs. My only pushback would be is if you think a guy hits a homer, obviously you might be able to get a better price on something. But betting on runs and RBIs, man, that's tough. So I tend to just find low fantasy points, and then I also stick to the either pitcher side or stuff like that. But Trey Turner's one of those guys that he's got pop, he's got speed. He's like the perfect guy to bet fantasy points on. So I would probably be looking for him to be at 7.5 or less every day, and I'll just keep rolling the dice on that. 10.8% swinging strike rate for Carlos Hernandez, with a 57% first pitch strike. Pitch type so far, 95.6 miles an hour on his fastball velocity, 85 on the slider. Uses the curveball behind his fastball quite a bit, 30% curveball throwing at 81 miles an hour. So let's see if that's consistent with what we had seen last year, if he made some adjustments. Last year, a lot of fastball. Curve. It looks like he's upped his curveball usage a little bit in short sample. And does this mean he's taking it away from the changeup? Looks like he stopped throwing a changeup. Add a little splitter action. So let's do some investigating on his. Let me make sure there's not like multiple Carlos Hernandez's. Royals. And Royals. Okay. Tim Anderson leadoff bomb. Nice. Hey, Timmy still got there for us yesterday, right? We were low key on the White Sox stack, thinking Thor would pitch and give up some stolen bases. Syndergaard got scratched, but Timmy still got there. It's a shame, man. I swear, White Sox and Cardinals were like my Cinderella stacks, and the Cardinals, Tommy Edman had like a leadoff foul ball that went like 8 inches foul, and then Tyler O'Neill had like an expected batting average on a ball that's a homer in 12 parks. I did get the Goldsmith homer. That was my one homer call yesterday. So it could have been worse, but it definitely could have been better. So once again, Madison Bumgarner lives rent-free in my head every 5 days, man. Hernandez, what are we doing, buddy? So looking at last year, we saw a fastball, curveball, slider, and a split. So there was no change. So maybe we're pulling in data from a different pitch recognition. So fastball, curveball, slider, and a split finger. Looks like he's getting a lot of whiffs on that slider. But that slider also has an expected slugging of almost 700, expected WOBA 433. So it's a give and take pitch, but he hasn't thrown it a ton. Last year, the expected slugging on that was 440. It was the highest of any pitch that he threw. The expected WOBA was 322, so it's 100 points lower than what it is now. And the spin rates on these pitches, 2043 average RPM on the slider last year. It's at 1991 so far this season. But the other stuff is looking all right. The curveball was at almost 2400 RPM last year. I guess that's down too. So he is losing a little bit of spin on some of these pitches. So jury is still out. I'm going to bet a little bit more on the Yankees offense staying hot, even without Judge. Judge has been a big part of this offense, so I'm willing to accept some failure. But Hernandez and the bullpen certainly don't scare us here. And it's a somewhat hitter-friendly environment. We got winds blowing out to right field. That would definitely benefit our lefty pull hitters. Rizzo is in a good spot to stay hot. Joey Gallo, if he can make some contact here, can stay on it. He had the day off yesterday, so kind of. He came in to pinch run and play defense late in the game, and then it got rained out. So, yeah, we're stacking Yankees. I'm not pitching Hernandez. And then Garrett Cole, man, he's on the bump here, and I know it's fun to meme him, and he had that unforgivable game against the Tigers, right? That couldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. But pitchers are going to have bad games. The rest of the season have been better than he gets credit for. Even the game like against the Blue Jays where he gave up 2 bombs to Vladdy, like past that, the underlying stuff is still really, really good. I think he's top 5, top 7 in stuff plus metrics. And then just on the season in general, if we look at his overall body of work, he has a 1.17 whip. He has 21 Ks and 18 innings pitched. We'll take that. ERA is not what you want, but all that other stuff looking really, really, really solid. Has a expected ERA of 3.8. We'd like that to be better, but it's not. It's not the worst. He's always gonna have a hard hit rate that's high. Him, Scherzer, guys that rely on a fastball quite a bit. Yeah, their hard contact is gonna be higher. His expected WOBA is 330. That's fine. I'll take that. The expected slugging 429. We'll live with that. We want that sweet spot to come down a little bit, but like I said, other than that, the underlying metrics have been fine, especially the ability to miss bats. So I'd be right there on getting to Garrett Cole tonight. And hey, back-to-back starts with Jose Trevino catching him is pretty good. Trevino, if you guys are unfamiliar with like framing and stuff, Trevino is one of the better framers in baseball, so he can steal some strikes. 15.3% swing and strike rate on the year for Garrett Cole. That's great. We'll live with that. And then what I'm looking for is him to stop the walks, right? Lower that walk rate a little bit. But yeah, he's in a fun spot. So definitely going to be loading up with some Garrett Cole on both sides, looking for 6 innings. What is the Garrett Cole line on PrizePicks? 6.5 Ks, 17.5 pitching out. So they're basically asking us, do we think Garrett Cole goes 6 innings today? I want to say yes. With my body. 6 innings in that last start, 5.2 against Toronto. Nicky Lopez leading off again. Yeah, I'm fine with it. And then if I let's give him 90 and 100 pitches in the K factory. I'm getting 7.6 and 8.5 strikeouts. So both of those numbers higher than the K. So I think this is going to be, I'm going to treat this a lot like Eovaldi's as well. Right, so you can give me Garrett Cole over 6.5 Ks, but I also like the thought of him going 6 innings over 17.5 outs. And this is a great example of it seems unlikely that he gets 36.5 fantasy points without getting a quality start, and you need to go 18 outs to get that. So it wouldn't really make that much sense to hit that fantasy point unless you think he gets like 10 Ks in 5 innings. But I'll take the outs. I'll take the outs. And also, we're stacking Yankees. Oh, that goes without saying. So let's add Yankees to the stack list here. Did I miss any? No. Mets and Phillies will be on there. They're gonna be at the bottom of the list, and then maybe the Rangers. So, we'll add them a little lower, and we'll reorganize later. Went with Bieber and Webb on the early. Good luck. Good luck. All right. Brewers hosting the Cubs. So we do have lineups for both teams. Nick Madrigal, batting leadoff for the Cubbies. Wilson Contreras, he's my catcher. Patrick Wisdom batting third. I do like that. A lot of times you find Wisdom hidden in like 7, 8, 9 hole, but more so like 7 and 8. And he's one of those. If he makes contact, that ball has a good chance of not staying in the zip code. But he has such a high K rate that you can neutralize him well. If you're batting top 3, you're likely implied for 4 or 5, maybe 6 at bats sometimes. But 4 or 5, that's a lot of opportunities to make contact. Ian Happ, and he's up against a lefty. I know Eric Lauer is coming off a big strikeout game on Sunday Night Baseball, but there's a lot of those strikeouts that are accredited to Mr. Angel Hernandez, and not necessarily, all Lauer. Brewers lineup: Andrew McCutchen, Willie Adames, Yelich, Hunter Renfroe, Keston Hiura, Lorenzo Cain is batting 6th. Rowdy Tellez, Mike Brosseau, Alex Jackson. Boom. It sounds like a country singer. All right, so neither one of these pitchers are going to be in play for me. It's Justin Steele taking on Eric Lauer. Cubs have just a 3.6 implied run total. So Lauer's been a contact guy. Last year against righties, though, a 27% K rate. That was the highest he's ever gotten to. But he didn't necessarily see like an uptick in swing and strike rate. So I do wonder if that's sustainable. And he did have a strong game. So let's look into it. I don't want to poo-poo on Eric Lauer without offering the numbers, right? So first of all, let's go to plate discipline. And he came off a season high in strikeouts against the Phillies, right? 14% swing and strike rate in that game, 11% on the season though aggregate, 12% against Pittsburgh, 6% against Baltimore, and then batted ball data is telling us 2.69 xFIP. If you take out that Phillies game, xFIP is respectable, right? You take that from a day 3, day 4, day 5 guy. And then the pitch type on him: fastball, slider, cutter, curveball. So giving you 4 or 5 options. Actually, fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, and a little bit of changeup. So is that consistent with what we had last year? Fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, changeup. Yeah, so that's great. If you're not going to be a huge swing and miss guy, having 5 pitches to go to, as we see with Michael King out of the bullpen for the Yankees and several other pitchers out there, it's really good to have 5 different pitches and keep hitters guessing. And then let's look at the batted ball data. I want to talk myself into some Cubs here. There are some fun bats against lefties. Now, the Brewers bullpen is good, and I do think we can chop this game in half. But I might try to sneak in some one-offs here, man. Seiya Suzuki, Patrick Wisdom, Wilson Contreras. I mean, all those guys make a lot of sense. Frank Swindell as well. They have Contreras and Yan Gomes in the lineup. Who's DHing? Is it Contreras? Probably. It feels like he's the better bat. Let me get a better track than this. This is weird. There we go. So go back to that batted ball data split. We got a 28% hard contact rate to righties. Fly ball rates at 55%. Only a 5.9% infield fly ball rate, and line drive rates at 22%. So there is some contact being made. Not necessarily with a ton of exit velocity, but there is contact being made. So I kind of am interested in some of these Cubs one-offs. But I might even get to a Cubs stack because it is a smaller slate. I guess the ultimate question is, am I pitching any Eric Lauer? Let's check out some pitch grades against these pitch types. A lot of negative ones. Contreras, Wisdom, Suzuki, they all have really positive grades against the cutter. Curveballs hit or miss. Fastball super average. The sliders average. So maybe we do play both sides here, but also I don't know, man. Eric Lauer he's not a 9K pitcher, right? Am I tripping? Like he's right there with Garrett Cole. And that's such an outlier game. It feels a lot like Nestor Cortez, where Cortez is funky enough that he's going to have those high K games, but now you're playing, like yesterday, you were overpaying 10K for Nestor Cortez, and he had a more realistic game that's in line with his metrics here. And I just think we might be overpaying for Lowry here. But at the same time, I'm on record of saying if a guy can get 20 plus fantasy points, he's worth having in the spin cycle. So I'll probably be teetering both sides of that. I think I would let it to fill out 150. I would probably let a couple of shares of Lowry into the back end, but I'm more interested in the offenses here. Even though the Cubs have such a low run total, there is some pop in these 200 plus ISOs against lefties, 230 plus, 290 plus for Patrick Wisdom, guys like that. So I'm kind of wrestling with both sides. So yeah, I think back end of 150, I'm gonna get some Cub stacks and some Lowry, and then Brewers, man. I think it's another spot where I'm gonna be on them. Another spot where Andrew McCutchen's gonna look pretty good. Justin Steele so far. Last year he came into the season with a 4.38 xFIP, a 1.8 home run per 9. The ground ball rate was higher than the fly ball, and the hard contact rate. And putting that with the home run per 9, felt like that maybe wasn't sustainable. But let's see how he's been doing so far this season, and really focus on his batted ball data so far. And again, it's small sample size for all these guys. Filling out process, 3-4 starts, 6% swing and strike rate. That is par for Justin Steele's expectations. Batted ball data for Justin Steele, 4.8 xFIP, 5.17 Sierra. Really, really elevated xFIP Sierras the last couple games. The ground ball rate is about the same as his fly ball rate, and the line drive rate's over 20%. So that's a good sign. And then let's see if he's favoring one side or the other, especially against righties, right? Lefty versus righty. Against righties, he's allowing 55% ground ball rate. That's actually really good. 2.5 ground ball to fly ball ratio. It actually looks like in small sample size, he's kind of got reverse splits. But it's only like 2.2 innings. He's allowed not much power. 3 doubles on the season, but the earnings are ridiculous. Really, really high batting average allowed to lefties, but I don't think there's enough sample size to look at that as anything other than a coincidence. Yeah, last year he was really, really good results against lefties. xFIP was still high. So I think we're just banking on talent here, banking on a porous maybe bullpen here. Brewers showed some scoring potential last night, and Willy Adames, keep an eye on him. I don't. It's not often that the Rays maybe make a bad trade, but Willy Adames, I don't know. I guess you had to make room for Wander Franco, so it is what it is. But Willy Adames is looking really, really good lately when it comes to power. 736 OPS. I guess that's lower than my head thinks it is, but 5 bombs, and he's got 4 homers in his last, 4 or 5 games. So maybe look for him if you are looking for a contrarian guy that you don't want to pay $5K for. Willy Adames fits the bill. McCutchen's going to be probably the highest guy in the bomb detector for this matchup. Yeah, 3.92. It's still below 4, so nothing to write home about. I think I'm lukewarm on this game overall. I'll probably have both stacks. I don't think I get to any Justin Steele, and I might get to a smidge of Lauer, but I'm willing to not have any, depending on how the rest of the day goes and how we evolve on our thoughts and adjusting for ownership. Angry McClanahan just struck outside. Let's go. Is Kershaw hands down the best pitcher on Fanduel? Hands down? I mean, I don't know that the gap is that... I like Kershaw, I'll say that. I think he's a really strong play. And I haven't looked at ownership to kind of gauge it, but Garrett Cole and Eovaldi are both in really strong spots and both have really strong metrics. So, I definitely think he feels like the safest. Even then, I don't even know if I feel like that's a confident statement. I would say I wouldn't snap call hands down. But I guess at the end of the day, if I had to start ranking him, I'd probably put Kershaw at the top just because I think he induces far less hard contact than Eovaldi and Garrett Cole. So, yes, in that regard. But I don't want to write off how good of a spot I think Eovaldi's in, and then Garrett Cole's just been fine. Nate Lowe over 5 fantasy points is standing out to me betting leadoff. Against Elder. Yeah, Elder does have a walk problem. Maybe it takes him a little bit to start throwing strikes. Not crazy. Maybe. Low asking price, right? Wouldn't eat the chalk. I don't know. Sometimes I eat chalk. Not literally, like my boy Eric, but I don't mind some spots. In baseball, your lineups, like, chalk is definitely a bad thing in the sense that chalk, like in baseball, you're more 70%. You're 7% of the time you're gonna fail, right? So when the guys do get ridiculously owned, the right move mathematically is to fade it. But at the same time, I'm not that worried about like lineup uniqueness and whatnot. I do have a stronger weight on what I just think are good plays than ownership, because I'm not worried about duplicating lineups, because it's just so hard to do. With the way we build lineups these days, right? Optimizers, randomness, different set of projections, different stack rules, stuff like that. So, yeah. And I guess it would matter more for pitchers when I think a pitcher's overowned or something like that. But I typically don't sweat it or don't sweat it as much as maybe other guys that are smarter than me do. And take that for what it's worth, right? Connor Joe, Charlie Blackmon, Randall Grichuk, CJ Crone, Ryan McMahon, Sam Hilliard. Batting 6th here for the Rockies. Jose, I can be your hero, baby. Iglesias batting 7th. Dom Nunez in the 9th spot. We do not have a Reds lineup yet, but we do know that Connor Overton is on the bump for the Reds, and Chad Kuhl is on the bump for the Rockies. The Rockies were somewhat corrected overnight from their price points yesterday. However, seeing a bare bones min price Mike Moustakas and Coors certainly looks funny. But pricing is whatever, right? I think we can play whoever we want. I think last night, smarter, cooler heads prevailed. The Reds didn't really soak up as much ownership as we thought they might, and we definitely didn't see maybe the appropriate ownership on the Rockies. And I showed you guys my top lineup at the top of the stream. I got 2% on Elias Diaz, 4% on Ryan McMahon. So there's still ways to be at the chalk, but also be different. Rockies put Chris Bryant on the IL yesterday. So the lane we're looking for to create a little havoc is Grichuk, Crone, and Ryan McMahon. With that said, let's look into Connor Overton a little bit, see what we're working with, because the Rockies have a 6.1 implied run total. So I guess let's just see what Overton's offered us in the big leagues. Let's see what we got in the spreadsheet as well. Last year we had 15 innings of big league sample size, so not a ton of innings to really go off of, but in those limited innings he had a high xFIP to both sides of the plate and absolutely got torched by lefties. So that's a good sign for Ryan McMahon. We want to keep his bat hot, or if we want to look at maybe Charlie Blackmon getting into the mix. So let's pull up Overton's minor league card. Me and our homie Vince just mined out this broken prop. Butler's at 3.5 assists with Lowry most likely out. Yeah, that sure seems broken. But is Butler for sure playing? I think I saw that he said he was, right? So that's probably fine. Let's see. Last year in the minors overall, or career stats, 4+ ERA in the minors, less strikeouts than innings pitched, so 1.41 WHIP. I mean, just all together, that looks terrible. How old is he? 28. So he's kind of up there. So he might just be a journeyman that trying to find his way home. Let's see last year instead of this year. ERA was solid last year, but that means nothing, right? Versus lefties, 24 innings, 28 strikeouts. That's good. 2.63 average, probably a little elevated. 1.29 WHIP, not what you want. 6 walks in 24 innings, 1 bomb, 34 innings against righties, 24 K. So looks like he's having a problem with righties over lefties. 10 less strikeouts than innings pitched against righties last year. However, kept the average down, and the ground ball was positive versus the fly ball with 5 walks, 2 bombs. All right, batted ball data on Mr. Overton. We'll look at him, then we'll also look at the baseball savant on him. K per 9 really high against lefties. So that has been 1-to-1, right? We just mined that from his minor league stuff. But I guess that is last year. That's not this year. Has he started in the minors this year? Let's see, 2022. Yeah, he's got 4 starts in the minors, or 4 appearances in the minors. He just went 7 innings on the 23rd, 7 days ago. In that game, gave up 1 bomb, 5 hits. All right, got a little something to work with. He's been a fly ball pitcher mostly in the minors. About a 1 even, so 1 ground ball per 1 fly ball, which means 50% fly ball, right? I'll take it. And then splits this year in the minors. 1 homer to both sides of the plate. Striking out righties a little bit more. So I really don't know what to expect from this kid. What's his graded on his pitches? Connor Overton. I'm gonna see if there's an article on him, but I didn't put Chris Bryant on the IL for season long. I gotta pick somebody up. I think it might be too late though to pick somebody up. I think I gotta do that before any game starts. I'm probably just gonna assume that he's an average guy in course, so I'm gonna stay away from him. And then Chad Kuhl. We kind of know what we're getting from Chad Kuhl. Has been a guy with the walk problem to both sides of the plate, power to lefties last year. See what we're working with this year. I barely went back and forth over the 26. Oh, man, that must have been a sweat. Turnover. No. Steal. Yes. Let's go. That's the worst. It's like the Russell Westbrook sweat. A 15.7% swing and strike rate. What in the same hill? All right, he's found a little bit more swing and miss. Wonder what that's about. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. What were we working with last year, Mr. Cool? A spit in the face. People don't want to play cool. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. So about the same. 95 on the fastball. So his fastball was his worst pitch last year. Whoops. Like by far his worst pitch last year. And the other pitches were slightly positive. So let's see if that's been opposite. Did he fix his fastball? Pitch value on the fastball 0.5. So that's an uptick from -2. Curveball's been positive. Changeup is super negative. And then let's go look at the baseball savant metrics. Alright, just straight up overall. Barrel rate is at like a career low 2.4%. He's allowed 1 barrel. Exit velocity is the same. Launch angle is better. Sweet spot's the same. The expected batting average is so far down. The expected WOBA was down. Hard hit is about the same. But that that's the difference between hard hit and barrel right there. Expected ERA is 2.18. Walk rate still really elevated. Why? Why is this happening? So last year his sinker got him in a lot of trouble, right? 541 expected WOBA or expected slugging, 468 expected WOBA, just a 6% whiff rate, and he's used that sinker a bit more this year, and he's improved on all the numbers. Expected WOBA's dropped all the way down to 321. Expected slugging It's gone down to 391 from a 541. So what's different about those pitches? Well, his sinker. .5 inches of break this year. Last year it was at 15.6, so it's not that. Spin direction, maybe. Sinker -15, sinker 30. So a little less deviation on that sinker. About half less, actually. What about our swing rates? What's going on here? I'm really just trying to figure out if it's strictly the sinker that is the difference. So spin rate on the sinker 21.15. Last year it was at 20.29. So he finds about 100 RPMs on the The velo is a little less now. I just don't know what has fundamentally changed. Maybe there's an arm slot difference that I don't see, but the results have been really good, and the predictive metrics are saying it's fine too. So, yeah, maybe Chad Cole isn't the gas can that he once was. With that said, it's still Coors Field. I just play the ownership game here. If Reds are over-owned, we stay away. Under-owned, we take some shares. If I wanted to pick on Kuhl specifically, knowing the historical splits, I'm looking for a power swing from a Naquin, maybe a Joey Votto, somebody like that. But I'm not overly enthusiastic about this lineup as a whole. It's the worst team in baseball, right? Lowest WRC plus. It is what it is. But we will get to some Rockies as well, even without Chris Bryant. So we got one game left on the docket. We've got one of the highest money line favorites you will see in baseball. -360 for the Dodgers. I think I've seen a -400 once or twice the last couple years. That's like a Scherzer or DeGrom against like an absolute gas can. Now you're getting -360 for Kershaw. Dodgers have a 5.1 implied run total. The Tigers just 2.7. I am on record of saying, man, those 2.5 point totals, man, that's a bloop and a blast off the bullpen, right? So every now and then that's a fun bet for me if you can get some plus money on it, and it is what it is. Clayton Kershaw, with that in mind, yeah, he's the strongest favorite on the board, so we can kind of imply him for the win in our fantasy point projections. And then we know that the Tigers' offense is stagnant, but they have a couple of sneaky pop bets, right? Javi Baez known to catch a lefty here and there. Spencer Torkelson's got some qualities that's worth being hopeful and excited about. Let's look up this Bo Brisk guy, see what we're working with on him. I really just want to know who he is and what to expect out of him. It's nothing that we're going to find out is going to make me less enthralled by the Dodgers lineup. 6.8% swing strike rate so far, not great. A 50% first pitch strike, also not great. Fastball velocity around 95. Throws a little bit of slider, a little bit of cutter, but it's mostly changeup fastball. And then in the minors, Brisk. I don't know if it's Brisk or Brisky. I have to look that up. Oof. Career MILB stats, 3.22 ERA. That's fine. More strikeouts than innings pitched. And then so far in the minors, he's got 2 games started, 10 innings pitched, a 1-2 whip, less strikeouts than innings pitched. Let's see if we can find some splits from last year. Last year, says 28.2 innings pitched against lefties, 187 average allowed. He was a fly ball pitcher, 33 innings against righties, 41 K. So he's striking out right. He's striking out both sides of the plate at a decent clip. Whip is down. 4 homers, 2 righties in 33 innings. That's a little elevated. Game log it. 5. And then looking at this season. So it's been 5 innings. I mean, I'm not expecting this kid to shut down the Los Angeles Dodgers, but I will say the minor league numbers don't project him to be like a gas can or anything like that. But man, 24-year-old young blood
meet Mr. Freddie Freeman, meet the LA Dodgers. Bad things happen to good people. It is a thing. It just happens. So we're stacking Dodgers. I'm probably not going to take the shot on the kid. Definitely not going to take a shot on the kid. We're going to play some Clayton Kershaw. So let's get this pitcher pool going here. Clayton Kershaw and Garrett Cole. So I like all these guys. Not necessarily equally. I do think Kershaw, if we're just looking for floor and safety, Kershaw does look pretty solid. I'm going to wait and hold off on this Tigers lineup before we upgrade him or promote him to tier 1. But these are my 3 favorite pitchers on the slate: Cole, Eovaldi, Kershaw. And then anything we get behind that is probably going to be some tertiary shares of like back 150, back 100 on guys like Eric Lauer. And that's kind of it. I think I'm going to go really stuck on these 3. Especially on Fanduel, right? Do I get like 33% each? See what happens? Maybe. Top team to stack. What up? Limited money. So far my favorite stacks are Red Sox, Braves, Yankees. We're gonna add Dodgers to the list. We're gonna add Rockies to the list, and then secondary stacks that I'll have some shares of: Rangers, Mets, Phillies, Reds. And that's what I'm working with so far. So we're gonna divvy up the player pool as we get closer to lock. I'll be doing that in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. So if you guys want access to that, go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a membership. Hey, all of our memberships, they come with a credit to Fantasy Cruncher. And that is the optimizer I use to manage and make my lineup. So if you guys are looking for a little extra value out of a membership, we do have some credits towards your Fantasy Cruncher. You just have to have an account on Fantasy Cruncher, link it to your RunDFS.com account. There's a whole process. It's like 2 clicks, and then you're good to go. So why not? And then let's look at the bomb detector. Before we do that, do another plug here. Remind you, this stream has been brought to you by PrizePicks.com. If you guys are not on PrizePicks, man, it's a whole lot of fun, and they're a really great site that have been rewarding the community with fun promotions, right? Fun. Yesterday they allowed another 2x your deposit, and today they're doing a fun flex bonus. So if you have been playing on PrizePicks and you've only been doing like power plays, your eyes just light up because you want the money, well, maybe you could try flex today and try a new sport, try to learn baseball, and take advantage of some of these flex stuff. We'll tell you about the payouts and the flex. I just want to say, if you sign up using my code, they will double your first deposit today up to $100. We'll put a link in the chat. Yeah, so if you just want to throw $20 on it, why not? $20, they'll make it $40. You can play it instantly, no slow drip, nothing like that. So boom, there's the link. And then let's get back to the main screen here. Explain what the promotion today is. So they used to, the normal payout on like a 5 out of 5 is 10 extra money, so $10 to $100. Well, today if you go 5 out of 5, it's 13x, right? So you can get $130 off of $10, and then the same if you miss, you make 4 out of 5, you're still over double your money. So kind of like a cash game, right? And then you'll not lose out if you only get 3 out of 5. You'll get half your stuff. So it's a cool promotion. I appreciate that, because I'm a flex guy when it comes to baseball. And then, hey, if you're already on PrizePicks, we also have a similar deal in place for you guys for Underdog, which is another site that also offers prop betting and parlay, and you can up to 20x your card with 5 in it. So check them out. They're gonna match that same deal that we got for you guys from PrizePicks. Double your first deposit up to $100. So make sure to check both of them out. So far, I was digging the Eovaldi K-prop and outs. Same for Garrett Cole. Hadn't sunk my teeth in on any of these hitter props too much, but I do like to target fantasy scores. So let's cross-reference the bomb detector with a couple fantasy scores and maybe see if we can't make a short list of guys that make a lot of sense here. So bomb detector, let's reset it. Let's sort it from highest rating to smallest rating. A lot of Red Sox at the top. A lot of Red Sox. Spencer Watkins, big righty problem, big power problem. Wisdom's up there as well. Anyone that we like up here that has a good bomb rating, but we also know has some speed. I think Acuna kind of fits that bill. And then do we have an opportunity to maybe take some unders on some of these teams that are in tough spots? Not a lot. Let's see. LA Dodgers.
So they got Trey Turner 8.5 fantasy points. That is up there. But we do get 5 points for a stolen base, and then we're hoping for maybe a single and a run. That's possible. They have Clayton Kershaw at 17.5 outs. Ooh. You guys think Kershaw goes 6 innings? As a massive favorite, I'd probably take a shot on that. 5.5, 75, 87. I don't love that he hasn't eclipsed 90 pitches. Maybe I'm a little bit hesitant on that. Kershaw outs. You like Kershaw outs? I'll put it on the list. I would say I'll put it on the list with an asterisk, and we'll see if the Tigers lineup comes out wonky, right? Clayton Kershaw outs. Power play life is the way to go. Can't do it. I found a new optimizer that's perfect for people with less time. I love FC, but it's a ton of work. Fantasy Cruncher's a ton of work? Bro, I don't agree with that statement. Check this out. Watch this. You ready for this? Let's just go off of what I got, right? Let's say we just did all this research, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks that I like and 3 pitchers that I like. So I'm gonna open up Fantasy Cruncher. I'm gonna go Fanduel here, and I could probably spit out X amount of lineups in minutes, right? So for Fanduel, I do like 4 2s. So once it loads, here we go. So let's go. Let's make sure it's on the main slate. Boom, boom. Main slate pitchers. I only want 3 pitchers in this little batch, so we're going to do. We're going to do Garrett Cole, we're going to do Eovaldi, we're going to do Clayton Kershaw, and then I'm going to set my exposure level on those 3 at, we'll go 35% each, right? That leaves us a little bit of wiggle room, and then let's go to advanced options. McClanahan got Ks. Let's go up our randomness. Let's go team stacks. We're going to do 2 different sides here. So we got 5 stacks that we like. So we're going to unselect all teams. And the 5 stacks that we liked were Red Sox, Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Rockies, right? Just simplistic. Go back here. Red Sox, Braves, Yankees, Rockies, Dodgers. And we're going to put 20% on each of those stacks, right? Equal distribution. Obviously, as you weight ownerships and stuff like that, you'll change it up. And then I like having 4 2s, right? So we're gonna put the same amount on those guys. Red Sox 20, Braves 20, Yankees 20, Rockies 20, Dodgers 20, and we're gonna make that a 2-man stack, and we're good, right? So theoretically, if we want 100 lineups based on those metrics, Fantasy Cruncher spitting out 100 lineups. Now, because I have just 3 pitchers, I think we got into a little issue there. But look at that. Look how easy it was to get all those teams, right? And just put a number. So I don't know, man. I don't know how. I don't think Fantasy Cruncher's a long process once you get it, man. It does the stacking for you. It does the randomizing for you. So, but hey, man, that's cool, man. All optimizers are what you make them. But I think Fantasy Cruncher, once you learn it, is really, really powerful to make complex batches of lineups and be competitive. So check them out. McClanahan 7Ks. Let's go, McClanahan. McClanahan's Auto Parts. We're at 4 o'clock. All right, so chat, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go jump into rundfs.com Discord for a little bit. Make my player pool, work on some lineups. If you guys want to hang out a little bit more, in about an hour, I think it's in an hour, I'm gonna be hanging out with Terry, my boy Terry, on the Osmo Live before lock. Yesterday, Terry took down 30K, man. So we definitely want to celebrate with him on that, on the Fanduel 555 yesterday, and then maybe we can run it back. Maybe he'll let me win it tonight. We'll see. So let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys giving me a piece of your Saturday afternoon, vibing out. Hopefully you learned something, or I helped you maybe do a little research. And then tomorrow, no baseball stream. Tomorrow we might have a basketball video from Josh, and then Monday we're back to full content, right? So yeah. The Thunder, what's it actually doing on DraftKings 4-2 also? It's going to be pretty much the same. Now, that was just like a super simplistic saying, hey, I can accomplish this fast. Obviously, we're going to start our looking at ownerships and leveraging the ownerships and trying to make decisions that way. But I just thought maybe Fantasy Cruncher was getting a bad rap on how fast you can accomplish something. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Been using it for 4 years. I know exactly how it works. MLB is simple compared to MMA. Are they? You've made a ton of ladders. So are they plus EV? Any optimizers can put on? Are they plus EV? That's yeah. We got to roll out Chuck, man. I'm with you though. If you like your projections and your research, plus EV is a little subjective there. But if you're trying to complicate it with like ownership stuff like that, you can do that as well on Fantasy Cruncher. Really, really easy to say, I don't want this much aggregated ownership in my lineup, stuff like that. So yes, I think they are plus EV straight up by doing what I just did, but you can make them even more plus EV if you're trying to get a little paralysis by analysis. But I keep it simple for baseball. I really do. Because I think it's really easy to overcomplicate such a high variance sport, and it's not necessary. Chat, I gotta get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for spending a little bit of time with me. Like I said, hey man, tell somebody out there you love them. Let them know, because it's a crazy, crazy world. I love you guys. Good luck out there tonight. I'll see you on the Osmo Live before lock. God bless. Go win some money.